Guys, I I don't know how my therapist has the camera do like a front ultra wide, because I can't get it to do that normally. But I just had therapy, and I felt really like, it's funny because I talked about everything. I just spilled out all these emotions that are been in my head, and then at the end of it, I was like, this is it, like, I still feel okay, I'm so good, but all of these emotions still exist. And then I was like, basically what I've come to in this idea of like grief and everything I'm feeling is just that, like, there can be multiple truths to exist. And she said, we tend to have this feeling that like peace is like this destination, like that we'll reach this stagnant point of like satisfaction with everything and like whatever. First of all, that'd be kind of boring if peace was just like stagnant, but we do tend to believe that that's what it is. And then second of all, nothing in life is rigid. And she was like, well, I guess maybe death. And I was like, no, even then, I had my grandfather fucking talk to me like 8 months in the grave, like at a dinner table through a girl I just met. You know what I mean? Like, it's death is not rigid. Nothing is rigid. Nothing is rigid. So she's like, her analogy was, we all have this feeling that when we like reach this point of peace, it's gonna be like stagnant. But the reality is, it's like you're on a boat, and the waves just get less choppy, or maybe we just learn how to manage the waves. But you're still, even when it's calm, even when the ocean is completely calm, you're still doing that, because it's just the reality of it. And we're all gonna sway, we're gonna have feelings, we're human, everything is gonna affect us, we're experiencing things, so we're going to have reactions to our experiences. But we've limited the circle of what can throw us off course, because we're still heading somewhere. Like, you're on this boat, you're at this piece, right? But you're still moving. So there are going to be things that are going to, like, rock the boat a little, but you're still going on your course. You're just not, your waves aren't throwing you off anymore. They're not debilitating. They don't take you off course. They don't rock your whole sense of self. Like, they literally just sway you. And as someone who came from a really choppy place, and now I'm in this sway, I still have the choppy thoughts, sometimes, because we're human. And I don't know if you guys have done any research on this at all. I don't know what sources to quote right now, but our thoughts are out of our experience. You know what I mean? Like, we receive thoughts, we don't necessarily create them. So, like, you know how sometimes you get an impulsive thought and you're like, what if I stab myself with this fork? And it's like, what the fuck, I'm not gonna stab myself with this fork. But like, the thought was there, and you're like, wait, am I crazy? Like, do I want to like hurt myself now? Like, do I want to? And the thing is, like, it's not that. It's literally just thoughts come through and go and whatever, like, all the time. We get a million thousand, I don't know, there's a lot of thoughts that we get into. If we gave a voice or an action to every thought, we would be fucking crazy. It's when you have to understand, like, meditation helps with this a lot, because when you're silent, this last sit around the fire one helped me a lot, but like, when you're silent and you just feel, like, and process and open your heart, and you shut this guy off for a second and you just move from your heart, you're like, wait, I know I'm good, I know I'm a source of love, I know that I also love whatever it is that connects me to everything, which is source, God, universe, whatever. So I'm okay. Like, I don't need to doubt myself. I don't need to worry. I don't need to stress. And then life comes and things happen, and you get these thoughts again, and they feel like imposter fraud. They feel like, am I really good? Am I really love? Am I moving from an authentic pace? Am I doing the right thing? Am I there? Like, all these questions, which are ultimately judgments. You're trying to judge yourself, and when you give the answer, you're trying to box yourself in, right? And the truth is, we can never be boxed. As Kai said, when you try to label something and describe it, you're reducing it. And that's the fullness of what labeling emotions are. And labeling thoughts. You have these thoughts. If you try to label them, I'm crazy, I'm good, I'm bad, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna split yourself into so many pieces that you won't, and the reality is, you are everything. You already are everything. You are the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, because all of your experiences have made you who you are, right? But you're still on a course of good. And these things that rock you will not throw you off your course. They will just, sway the boat. Don't give those emotions that you don't connect to as much anymore. Like I used to be a very sad person, and any thought of grief, I would cling and make it bigger and whatever, and then that became my personality. At least I felt so. And it took a lot to undo that. And I still, as you see right now, I'm still undoing the sadness, the grief, this feeling of like, am I good? Am I truly meant for good? Because I lived in so much of a space that I wasn't. Not necessarily like I was a bad person, but I wasn't good to me. So being good to me feels foreign now. And handling my emotions in a good way feels still foreign, even though I've been doing it. I just have to stop judging myself for it. I have to understand that this boat is still going to sway. And even though I'm at peace, and I really am, like I've found peace, peace is not defined by how still my boat is. It's defined by the knowing that, like, I am all of it and that's still okay. All of these truths exist, but I know my truth, which is that I'm good. I am good. Like, and when I say I'm good, I don't necessarily mean like I'm good. Like, I'm good. I mean, like, I am a good heart, a good soul, a good person. I am a good being. I'm connected to a greater source of good. Like, everything is good and love. Good and love to me go connected. So then it's like, I'm good. I am therefore love. And these fears and anxieties are just judgments and trying to box myself in. And I don't have to do that. All of these truths can exist at the same time. I can feel as much grief as I do right now and then be up and bumping in 5 minutes. That's all still me. I don't have to feel like I'm an imposter because of it. I'm just feeling, and I'm going through my human experience and my emotions and my things. And what's hard about feeling so much is that I'm going to be the only one that understands everything I just said, at least for all of that it is, because I'm speaking from my own experience. But that's okay. I'm not trying to speak to help other people see it my way. I'm just trying to help you guys understand. Like, the reason that I talk, because people have asked me, like, how are you so vulnerable with, like, everybody? Like, aren't you, like, literally I got asked yesterday, like, don't you feel scared to, like, trust and love everything? And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's fucking scary, because there are people that will take advantage and there are people that will hurt you. But you have to remember that hurt is a result of their fear, not necessarily, there's nothing that you did wrong. You know what I mean? Hurt people. And hurt, even when we act on fear, that's not a reflection of the other person. That's a reflection of our own insecurity and fear. So when you feel like, when you move from so much love and people hurt you, you can't let that close you off. You can't, because you'll become less of you. And why would you want to do that just because somebody else is not ready to accept the fullness of them? Because that's all that is. You know what I mean? That's all fear is a projection of an insecurity. All that bad stuff is that projection of our own fear, of our lack of self-love, all of these things. So, like, when you come to peace with who you are and the love that you are and the truth of who you are, these things won't throw you off as much. Like, your boat doesn't rock to everybody else's concept of what is good and bad, and because you understand that you are all of these things, but you're just choosing to be a good person. And that's the thing, it's a choice, and it's an everyday choice to stay on course and not let these waves rock you, because the waves are going to be there no matter where the fuck you go. Waves are going to be there, and you gotta just go, man. You gotta choose to be a good person and go with it, and like, choose your path and go with it. Commit to yourself, commit to love, like, and everything else will align itself. And that's what I've realized is, like, yes, bad things will still happen. I learned that in the past month when my car breaks down, the same week that, like, my grandma, health declined, and the same week that, like, I'm feeling suddenly so, like, oh, I was feeling really confused emotionally because of, like, a situation with where to put my love. And I realized that I don't have to figure that out. Like, I don't have to change the way that I put love for other people to be able to receive or accept it. I can still be all of me and just understand that there are some things that I'm gonna have to let go of that just no longer are adding to my love, Not that I need anything from anyone, but you know, discernment. This is where what we talked about in therapy today. Discerning, like, where 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 am I putting up boundaries with people that doesn't necessarily mean black or white. Like, if I have a boundary with you, doesn't mean you're out of my life. But there's just a place that you won't get access to anymore. Or, you know, just for now. It doesn't mean for the rest of my life. But, like, just like, hey, this is what I gave you a chance. It's on this. This is my boundary right now. And you have to, like, just live with that. And I think what I was telling her is, like, the hardest part is not necessarily that the other person's gonna have trouble living with the boundary. It's that I'm gonna have trouble living with the boundary, because I am so much of just, like, let out love. And then what she reminded me is that I don't have to stop loving to put up a boundary. And that's where forgiveness, I think, comes in. Is like, I can forgive you for hurting me without necessarily letting you have access to that part again. Without, yeah, letting myself be taken advantage of again. Which doesn't mean that I'm Xing you out of that box or anything. I'm not Xing anyone out. What it is just like, hey, this is what the situation was. This is where we are right now. If that's gonna change, it's gonna take some level on your end, obviously on my end as well. But like, this needs to be a mutual, you know, thing. And I think, like, I've realized that in a lot of my relationships over the past years is that, like, I I I do move from a point of love often, and I give a lot of chances and faith, and I have a lot of faith in people. Sometimes the amount of faith that I have in people has been debilitating, in the sense that, like, I trust more in their potential of who they can be than who is actually presenting themselves in front of me. And that's a gift, that I can see the depth of someone. Honestly, I think it's a beautiful gift, because I get to see so much good in people, and I get to see their true light. And that is super rewarding. It's very inspiring. It makes me want to create and keep being the light that I am, and also excited to find people that are this, like, are did do see their fullness of light, and then we could just exist as, like, these light beings together. You know, like, all of this stuff has just made me stronger. And sometimes, like, I think about that whole concept of seeing the potential of someone. When you lose that, when you realize that you have to accept what's in front of you, it can feel like a loss as well. And my manager kind of explained it in the sense of grief with my grandma, for example. Like, the fact that she's not physically here hurts, but also it wasn't like, the reason I feel so much grief is because I love so much. And then it's just this whole idea that grief is still love, you know? I'm grieving because I love you unconditionally. And that is a hard thing, because you're letting go of something you never needed. I literally wrote about this yesterday. Like, you're letting go of something you didn't need, you just like to have there. But some things will ebb and flow, whether we're ready for it or not. And with my grandma, for example, like, she's not here in the physical realm, but that love is still there. It's still there, and it's still strong, and I feel it. And it makes me emotional sometimes, and sometimes I just feel like laughing, and, you know, it's there. It exists. I still feel grief from the physical loss or perceived loss. But the truth is, like, I only feel the grief because the love was there. It's the same thing with these relationships, that I have to let go of the potential, sort of say. It's not necessarily like I'm letting go of anything, and it's not a loss of anything. That person's light still exists. They are still the fullness, like, and everything that was still was, you know what I mean? Like, it's all love. But I don't have to keep my, I cannot force someone to see that in themselves. And, like, at that point, I need to let go, because I will get lost trying to help someone find. And the truth is, I had to find, you know, on my own. I had to find through, like, difficult experiences. Finding is a choice. Finding is, like, when you're hurt, you're like, wait, I'm not gonna let this hurt define me. What is going on? How can I fix this? How can I be better of a person? How can I move with more love? How can I, you know, you start to question yourself to be a better person. And that means letting go of people that aren't seeing themselves that way, and aren't trying to better themselves, and aren't trying to be good people, and are just accepting the external world as, like, you know, the final of things. And there's so much that goes into that, because it's not to say that these people are like lack of anything. They're not. They're just not at the state of where I'm at, in which I am moving from more place of love because I have so much faith. But faith took so long for me to build that like I cannot blame when other people cannot build that faith that quickly. It's also not my job. But you know, it's just discernment, bro. Like it's so weird. And discernment is just like this understanding that like this energy can still be good because the source of everything is good, right? So people are good at their core. But that's not what you're choosing to see in yourself, and therefore you're going to project yourself as pain, and hurt people will hurt people. So it's this constant thing between knowing there's light and love, seeing the light and love, believing in the light and love, having faith in it, but also knowing that that is a choice that people, my bangs are banging right now, that is a choice that people make on whether they want to be light or love or not. And it's so weird because there's so many layers to it, and I could talk about this forever because I've spent so much time solidifying my own beliefs in light and love and like who I am. Like I feel very confident in who I am, in the sense that like even now when I have to make these shifts where I have to let people go or like change environments or stuff like that, I know that I'm not moving from a place of like fear and self-sabotage and isolation. And that's the thing, is before I used to doubt myself because I let that judgment part of my brain speak too much. I let the part that is just those doubts and thoughts have too much control over like what I know, which is that, hey, I'm a good person. Just this situation, I've outgrown it. You know, like there's just nothing else I can do here, and that's not a bad thing. I don't have to label that as an ending, as a bad thing. It's just a stepping stone to the next thing. I think I'm just having a revelation as I'm saying that, because I'm like, that's the whole thing I've been struggling with. Grief is like feeling like I had to fit my grief into crying all the time, or like I had to fit my grief into like going mute or whatever, like whatever felt like I had handled grief before, which like in October it was like isolation and muteness. I felt like it had to feel the same, and it doesn't this time. I feel still very active. I'm doing a lot of things because she would want me to. Like she would literally tell me, girl, get your ass up, go do what you gotta do. Pa mí no vas a llorar. And so like you know, like I'm still gonna do my things, but I'm still feeling sad, and I still feel like I miss her, and that's a-okay. Like both of these truths can exist at one time, and I don't need to judge myself for feeling either one of these things. And if people are judging me, which is another thing, is like seeing yourself from an outside perspective, like, am I crazy for being like back and forth? Like, are people judging me for that? Like, should I be judging myself for that? All of these doubts, and it's like, no, I know my truth, which is that like I am light and love and all these things, but like, yes, it is also true that I feel this pain and grief and don't know what, like, I cannot be the version of me that everybody sees me as right now. Like, that's what my therapist said, because she was like, you know, it's okay to not be yourself. And then she was like, let me rephrase that. It's okay to not be the version of what someone sees you as. And I was like, that part. Because like, myself is all of this, is all of the depths of grief and love that I feel, because they both exist in me, and I'm not gonna deny that. And I'm not gonna try to box myself in just for you to understand that like when I feel grief I cry, and when I feel happy I'm super outgoing and shit. No, I can be all of those things at one time, and I am. And I don't remember how I got to this point. This whole 19-minute talk is really chaotic, but the point is literally just observe yourself. Like, meditate. Take yourself out of your consciousness, which is just like this observatory point of all your thoughts, and don't judge yourself for them, because you're human. And also, like I said, our thoughts are not ours. Like, we receive thoughts, and the more that you focus on something, the more that's going to come out on that one. But if you just observe and you choose which ones you want to give control to, you choose to be controlling, you choose to focus on the love, which controls now your stream of thought to be more love, Focus on the good. Same love, good, like all these things. Like, why would we give voice to these doubts and insecurities when the truth is when we are silent, we know that the universe is good. All is in goodwill. That's what we all crave, but we feel skeptical to accept because there is so much fear in the world, and that's true. But the only thing that is real is love and good. We all that we spend our life doing is trying to get back to that state of unconditional enlightened love. And it's difficult to get there because of all the judgments that we make on our own thoughts and on other people's thoughts and of things. But when we remember that all of this is just from like habituation and lack of awareness, and like, like that's what being a fearful person is. And these people that are hurt and move from hurt is because they aren't aware of their own light and love, because they let themselves be told, they tried to box themselves in, like people that go crazy, right? And like, do things that are out of normal, right? Out of normal is because they thought there was a normal to begin with. You know what I mean? There is no normal. All of it is real. All of it exists. But it's all love if you choose to focus on it. And that's the thing, is like, that is what enlightenment is. Like, why would you choose otherwise? Why would you choose to give voice to the bad thoughts? Why would you choose to doubt yourself when the truth is, you are part of spirit. Like, you are part of something bigger. Listen to Sit Around the Fire by John Hopkins and Ram Dass. Watch Everything Everywhere All at Once and just see this perspective. I have so much to say on that movie. So if you haven't seen it, spoilers upcoming. But in Everything Everywhere All at Once, there's this whole idea that like, there's so many themes in this movie, but I see the daughter, like Joy, which is funny, her name is Joy, but she represents hopelessness in that moment, like in the movie, because she sinks into this feeling of like, I am not enough, like I am not deserving of this love, so I will choose. She chose to go to the dark side, like fucking Anakin and the fucking Star Wars movies. Like, you choose the dark side because you lose faith in the good. And I guess for Anakin, like, that was when, like, he was trying so hard to save someone that he wasn't in his present. Wow, that's funny as fuck that I'm doing a Star Wars reference right now. But like, when Anakin was trying to save Padme, and he's like, I have to do all this good. That was succumbing to the idea that there was a threat to begin with, and he didn't realize that he made the threat a reality by focusing on trying to save himself from the threat. Whoa, revelation as fuck right now, because think of how many times we do that. How many times do we prepare ourselves for this hurt situation, and then the hurt situation happens and we're like, it's because I didn't prepare enough, next time I have to prepare more. No, bitch, it was never about you. Like, hurt things are gonna happen anyway. You're gonna get hurt either way. It's a part of life. Grief happens either way. I've been feeling so good for the past like 8 months. I've been putting so much work. 8 months, it's been a year already, putting so much work into myself and love and all of this thing, and then my grandma passes away, my fucking best friend in the entire world. And it's like, ow, like, damn, like, I thought I prepared myself to feel like, that's like kind of like the fear that comes in, is like, oh my god, like, I feel sadness, like I'm afraid that I'm gonna sink into the sadness. And the truth is, like, I couldn't prepare myself. The only way that I could be and exist and get over this grief is by knowing that there was so much love to begin with, and that I was present with her in every moment, because I did so much work to like be present, that this is just a part of life. And it's gonna be okay. I can still hurt, I can still feel, but it's gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be okay, and everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird, but like, oh, anyways, so this movie of hopelessness, I don't remember how I jumped a lot, but basically in this movie, when Joy is feeling like really hopeless, and then the mom is kind of like trying to control everything as well, and like, then she gets to this point that she's like, bro, I just gotta give in to whatever's going on right now, right? Like, I just gotta give in to like the fact that, yeah, maybe I have superpowers, I guess, or whatever. Like, you see her kind of go through this, like, how is this real? But then she kind of just accepts it because this is a reality of it, right? And then near the end of the movie, when her husband is standing there, and he's like, even when we don't know what's going on, just be kind. Like, be kind to one another, especially when we don't know what's going on. And then it hits her. Like, love was always the answer. Kindness was always the answer. When we all act on these points of feeling of being attacked, we are only attacking other people. Like that scene where they're all going to attack her and then she like does all these things to like make them feel love in that moment, or like make them feel seen, and which is, I guess, a form of love, is fully being seen. And then she's doing all these things and they're all like ending happier. And that's the thing, is like we all try to neglect what makes us actually feel happy, so we act on violence and hurt people, and this has hurt me in the past, what's going to hurt me before, and all this cycles of hurt and pain. When reality is, when you choose love, you find peace quick, right? And then she goes to save the daughter, and she's giving her the love. But at this point, I think Joy is a representation of someone who is like, who has to, I mean, we all have to save ourselves, but she's at that point not receptive. And that's why she does go into that hole, because she chose in that moment when she had the choice between love and the hole, she chose the pain. And then she realized, why am I choosing this pain? It has always all been love. I just had to accept that it was right there, and accept that this person is now choosing to accept me. You know what I mean? It's like, and then she gets so many concepts in this movie. Oh my god. I could talk for hours. There's 26 fucking minute thing. Yeah. So anyways, as my grandma would say, one, hablando se entiende. Dos, el no lo tiene. So like, try to be loved. Try to open your heart and just see how that feels, you know, like, el no lo tiene. You already have the no. You already have the rejection. So what's the point in trying? I mean, what's the point in not trying if you already have the no? You get what I mean? So basically, it's weird. It's almost like have your expectations low but dream big, and act on the big. Kind of be a little bit delusional and believe in yourself past the expectation. Don't expect more, because then you get greedy. And that's why you have to keep your expectations low, but move like you're up here. And just let everything else fall into place. But do it all with love. Like, do it all with truly unconditional love. Learn what that feels like. Learn that it's unconditional love is also grief, because you will lose things, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, whether it's someone not able to meet your capacity, whether it's just like a loss of a material thing, a loss of a whatever. You're gonna lose things. Grief is a part of that. That's why we can't attach so much to things. We just have to live in the present moment that we have it, love it for all that it is now, and be ready and willing to let go and change and evolve, because that's all that we do. All that's certain in life is change. She would say that all the time also. Only thing certain in life is change. So you can never get too attached to what's around you. It will change. It will change. In a few months from now, I might not be in this room. I might have my own like place. I may like have a fucking Porsche 911, 911. I don't know, man. Whatever. I may have a Porsche. I may be a super fucking rock star. I may be on a stage. I may be hosting community events while still doing like my own artistry. I may have a magazine. I may be in New York. I may be in LA. I may be in Europe, in Canada, in traveling in Brazil. You know, like all of these things are possible. But that's because I have to detach from what I have now. Like, and the thing is, people that get stuck is because they hold on so tightly to what they have. They're afraid that change means loss of themselves or loss of good, and that change means bad. Change doesn't mean bad. Positively overthink everything. Yes, I can detach from everything around me, but I can also expect the best, you know? I can just be open to whatever comes in my direction, but know that I'm moving with love and good intention, and I want good things. So, and I want to spread good things. Like, it's all connected, guys. Just love and move from love. This is now a 29-minute video, and I could go on, but I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm gonna be getting repetitive, and I'll just talk on other themes later. So I kind of like this little video podcast. Maybe I'll be doing more of those. But I hope you guys have a happy Monday and a good start to your week. And yeah, love you all, and spread some love today and some smiles. Yeah, spread smiles. Love you.